Hello, welcome back to the Forbidden Land podcast. This is my second attempt at recording this episode because the first attempt was so horrifically all over the place. like, I just could not think of what I was going to talk about, and my mind was all over the place, so it just was like a super disjointed episode. Um, So yeah, I'm even getting a little bit of it here, but I mean, at least I have like an idea of what I'm going to talk about. So, um, I had a pretty good Thanksgiving. I had a pretty decent Thanksgiving. I'm going to move the camera back up. I need that more looking down on me angle. Okay. So, I had a pretty decent Thanksgiving. I went to my mom's house and I helped her make some of the food for once, which like I bet she's been waiting a long 21 years for that because I usually never helped out with making the food, but in the last few years, I've gotten better at cooking, and now I know what I'm doing. So I helped make the mashed potatoes. I helped make the cranberry fluff. I helped with the what was it? Oh, I helped like taste test the whipped cream that we made. Um, my mother almost lit the kitchen on fire. That's always fun. It's a gas like stovetop, so water at one point came over the edge of the pot and spilled onto the eye, and like a fire started happening, and so I shut off the eye and I was like, pick up the pot. And that was a fun little mishap. But here, I'll show the spread. Fuck it. I don't know why I wouldn't. Let me show the spread. I took a picture of it. Oh yeah, while I was there, I also dropped my phone and put a crack in it. Hooray. I've gone so many years without cracking my phone. And I finally managed to crack it. So the first crack was on Tuesday when I slammed on the brakes of the forklift and the phone flew off the lift and smacked onto the floor. The second crack was Wednesday when a crack ricocheted off the original crack. All right, so let me upload this. We have the food spread. I hope there's nothing revealing in the photo. I feel like my social security isn't present in this photograph. Okay, so they're uploading. But so yeah, we had a nice food spread, and I got to meet my mom's new kitten. I also got to set up the Christmas tree. That was pretty nice. So anyways, I hope if you're listening to this, you also had a good Thanksgiving holiday. But then sort by last modified. Here, let me show this spread before I move on. Open in a new tab. Open a new window. Yeah. Look at this. We got, so here's what it all is. Salad. I don't like salad. Deviled eggs. I'm not a big deviled eggs kind of guy either. But I helped make the cranberry fluff, which I didn't really get any of, by the way. Might I add. I put it in that container. I flattened it out. I prepped it and everything, and I think I literally only got to eat the taste testing parts. So that's what that is, cranberry fluff. This is dressing. which my mom tried her best to recreate my great grandmother's recipe. These are the mashed potatoes I helped make. I seasoned them. I mashed them on the first part. Then we used a mixer to make them creamier. I also did the boiling and everything. I put them in the pot. Those are the mashed potatoes. They were banging. These, these, you don't even understand. These are the sweet potatoes, my mother's famous sweet potatoes. Now, let me explain what's going on here. You run that spoon across it, it's just going to be like, it's going to sound like you're dragging a heavy metal cube across the floor. That shit's solid. Those are nuts. Sorry, people with allergies. You can't have pecans, which I think that's what those are. Sorry. But we can all eat it. You crunch in there with the spoon, and there's sweet potatoes in there. Oh my god. It's the best thing she makes. This was the first time she's made it in 4 years, and it was delicious. I've been begging her to make it. It was the first thing ready out of everything. It was the only thing that maintained its heat because the dish was still hot and it had this protective heat seal on the top of it. This shit was still the perfect hot temperature when we dug in. Anyways, here's the turkey and gravy. The turkey was really good, not dry. It was really good, and it also had really good skin. I wish I had gotten to take more of this home. The only leftovers I was given was this, the sweet potatoes. I wanted some turkey as well. Maybe some fluff, perhaps. Some fluff. Oh, and then off on the left, there was mac and cheese in a crock pot. And then up here is a red velvet cake. Oh my god, it was so good. It was so good. And we made homemade pudding and homemade whip for the pudding. And then here's my lemonade. And yeah, this is the whole food spread, man. So this is my mom's dining room, by the way. I'm so sleepy. Ooh, here's a really good photo of all of it. This one. I like lowered the angle down. Yeah, here's a better photo of like the dining room in general. I want to see the chandelier. Yeah. I set up the spread too. Like I'm the one who put everything on the table, put all the stuff under it because this is a nice tablecloth. I went hard, dude. I've never put in that much effort for Thanksgiving. I'm always just like sitting around watching. Thanksgiving is always such a weird time of the year. Part of me is like, I really don't want to travel around to see everybody in my family. But like, also, I do have a couple Thanksgivings that I, cherish in my head. That I, one of those things where it's hard to explain. There are certain Thanksgivings that are like seared into my head. And for sad reasons, for good reasons. The sad reasons are like, oh, maybe I've lost a loved one. Like I distinctly remember Thanksgiving 2016. Yeah. I was a freshman in high school and I just started taking film classes, and my uncle, who was a film graduate, he was talking to me about it, and he made his like famous mashed potatoes, and that was the last Thanksgiving that I had with him. So like, instead of forgetting that Thanksgiving over time, if anything, I've like tried to hang on to that memory as much as possible. But yeah, it's stuff like that. Like it's kind of a a weird dynamic. Like sometimes I hate Thanksgiving, other times I try to remember them as best as possible. Here's a ah! If I yawn one more time, we're ripping my throat out. Here is a picture of me from Thanksgiving in 2000. I know it's more than 10 years ago. This is from 2009. No, 8. Thanksgiving 2008. So I don't even remember this Thanksgiving. Look at this. Look at me, dude. Look at what time has done to me. What 15 years has done to me. I can't even recreate it. I look nothing like that now. However, look at how tired I already look. The eye bags was in development. I probably looked like the sleepiest 6-year-old or 5-year-old on Earth. How old was I at that point? I would have been 6, right? Yeah. I would have been 6. I don't know why I'm thinking I would have been younger than that. But yeah, that's a photo of me from 2008. I don't think I'm pictured at all anymore after that. Oh, here's my uncle and my his wife and my mom. So this is the uncle I was referring to. So yeah, I cherish some Thanksgivings more than others. I don't remember this one at all though. This is way too long ago. This is 15 years ago. I don't even remember like what I was doing at that age. So yeah. What did I say about yawning? Ah. Ah. Yawning too much. So, oh, now it's just like really dark. Wonder if I can even do the podcast with it being this dark. Yeah, probably. So that was my Thanksgiving week, or my short span over Thanksgiving. In other news, my last few days have been pretty funny. So after Thanksgiving, I come back here, and then so it's Friday, and me and my girlfriend are like, "Oh, let's go out to eat." Surely no one will be going out to eat the day after Thanksgiving because they have leftovers and stuff like that. So we pull into the Texas Roadhouse parking lot. Shit's packed. So we're like, fuck this. So then we pull into the to this new pizza place's parking lot. We park. It doesn't seem that busy, right? So we go in and we're like, oh yeah, table for two. And they go, oh, it'll be like an hour to an hour and a half wait. We were like, okay. And we left. We literally go next door to a barbecue place, and it takes us 20 minutes to order, sit down, and then get our food. There was plenty of seating, all that. The food was great. I had ribs. My ribs came with 2 sides, so I got mac and cheese, and then we got fries so I could give them to my girlfriend, and then she got a 6-piece habanero barbecue wings, and the fries for my meal were her side. Technically, the wings were like an appetizer, and then oh, and it also came with cheese biscuits, all to myself because she can't have gluten. Not to gloat. Not to gloat. She cannot have gluten. So, I got to eat those cheese biscuits myself. So, I was about to yawn, dude. I caught it. Maybe the water will help me. So, that was an interesting and fun Thanksgiving, a day after Thanksgiving meal. You know, seeing where Texas Roadhouse had a packed ass parking lot. No fucking way their wait time was going to be 10 to 20 minutes like Google said it would be. The pizza place, I did not expect it to be that long. Last time we went, there was no wait and it was pretty busy. So I'm kind of shocked that the barbecue place came in clutch. So then on Saturday we did some shopping, bought some books. I got this like gothic chilling ghost stories book, and she got like 5 books, and then we got some gifts for people. And so then that night I'm fooling around on her computer, like I changed the BIOS settings just out of nowhere. I just felt like changing stuff in the BIOS. So I boot into her computer, it boots up fine, and then I hit restart to see if it boots faster. And so I leave her house, and like an hour or two later, I get a text, and she's like, "Hey, the monitors aren't lighting up." I'm like, "What do you mean?" And she's like trying to turn the computer off and turn it back on, and the only way she can do it is by turning off the power supply and turning it back on. The power button's not working, and the screens are black, as if the computer is not on. Automatically, it's a motherboard problem. I'm like, fuck, and I felt like shit. I was like, oh my god, I just bricked her BIOS. And so I'm like, hit the BIOS flasher button. So she presses the button and nothing happens. So I'm like, fuck, did I like dummy proof her computer? Because I'm the one who built her system. I put all her parts in the case and everything. And I'm like, fuck, did I not plug in her BIOS reset switch? And I'm like, shoot, dude, I'm going to have to like get her to take out the CMOS battery. So we're like, whatever, just shut off the power supply, let it sit overnight, it'll power cycle. So today she gets home from work, I drive over to her house. I'm packed with like the tools. I got my my software stuff on this flash drive. And I'm like, but you know what? I have this weird feeling. I'm like, you know what? Watch my graceful presence. Watch it bless this home and fix all of our problems. So I walk in, I walk up to the computer, I flip on the power supply and press the power button, and what do you know? It turns on immediately. Dude, it's like unprecedented. I guess it just had to power cycle is my ultimate conclusion there. But I just think it's so funny that I pretty much fixed the entire problem by just turning on the computer. I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to change anything in her BIOS. I think her pressing the reset switch did actually reset her BIOS anyway. So all it's doing now is just running the memory in normal clock speed, and it's auto booting into her Windows boot manager and instead of, you know, whatever, me like making it automatically boot into Windows boot manager. It's just like choosing to do that. So yeah, I fixed the computer with my magic presence, my magic touch. I just thought it was funny because like a few days ago at work, one of our coworkers was having a problem on his computer, and I walk in and it's like, the moment I walk in, the mouse starts working on the laptop that he's on, and I'm like, my presence brings quick solutions. And so then I go into diagnosing his main computer because his mouse isn't working. Anytime you drag it over to his left monitor, it starts to like get all choppy. So I deduced that it was because he had a USB dongle for his mouse and the dongle wasn't getting enough power because he also had the USB display adapter. Like he had like a USB to HDMI adapter from like J5 Create plugged into the back of the computer. And I just went down there, I unplugged it and plugged the HDMI cable into the computer itself because it had an HDMI port, by the way, and it fixed the whole problem. And I was like, yeah, do not use this anymore. Please, for the love of God, I beg of you, do not use this. So, like I said, my presence brings great fortune to those who have PC problems. So I fixed her computer. I like turned it on, updated her graphics drivers, made sure everything was working, updated some of her games, installed games that she was gifted the day before. And yeah. But, you know, anyways, she's due for a motherboard upgrade, so we're getting her a new motherboard cuz she's on like a B450, like old Ryzen 1000 series motherboard. And we're getting her a 5000 ready motherboard. It's B550A. So we're getting her that. And then I also bought her an M.2, and I'm going to clone her hard drive onto that M.2. So yeah, hopefully that goes without a hitch. We're going to do all that. I think this like BIOS problem made me kind of wake up to like, okay, yeah, we need to just go ahead and fix her whole computer. My computer, knock on wood. Why does that hurt so much? I just have frail bones. Knock on wood. My computer has never done that. So it's never frozen in the BIOS. Knock on wood. So praying. So in the scrapped episode that I recorded, which was almost half an hour, so I'm dedicating a lot of time to this episode. So don't be shocked if it's kind of short. Because who makes the rules for these? A short episode? I feel like that's fine. It's just episode 40. I scrapped an episode last week too and put it on the Patreon because the episode after that I re-recorded had nothing to do with the previous scrapped one. So I saw a video where Keith Lee went to Atlanta, and apparently they treated his family like garbage. Like, not like garbage, but they like mistreated it. They gave his family like poor customer service, and then they gave him like excellent customer service just because he's Keith Lee. Let me show the video. 11 Alive did this video for some reason, so we'll watch this. Here, let me unmute. Okay.
TikToker Keith Lee is sparking a lot of conversation about Atlanta's food scene after he visited a couple of different restaurants over the weekend. Now, Lee has a bunch of followers, more than 14 million on TikTok, and he's known for his very honest reviews. He talked about how he feels like some of the rules of Atlanta's establishments make it hard for him to review them.
Customer service was interesting. While the people were nice, the rules they had set were very unique to me. We initially tried to do takeout, but when we came in, they said we couldn't sit down, and there was no space at the bar for us to stand. So we had to stand outside and order our food. And then we decided we just gonna dine in. But two people in our party stepped out for a second, because again, we fresh off the plane, so everybody's trying to get situated. The waitress, again, she was nice, but she told us she couldn't take any orders, or she couldn't do anything until everybody sat down. No water, no coffee, no drink orders, no nothing.
But it's not all bad. Some restaurants actually got high marks.
Oh, let's see.
Right now, popular TikToker Keith Lee is sparking a lot of conversation.
Oh, is it just the same video but slightly longer?
He visited a couple of different.
Man. Wait, what? I need the wider video. Oh, My wife and I talk about this unique experience in black-owned Metro Atlanta restaurants. Most of them are overpriced. The customer service is non-existent. Hopefully, Keith's visit will shift the culture. I saw one where they were going to go into a place and review it. And so that's what it was. So he called over the phone and they were like, "Oh no, we just do orders over DoorDash." And then he goes on DoorDash and it says they're closed on DoorDash. And so then he sends his family into the restaurant and they're like, "Oh, we're not serving anybody right now." And then Keith walks in and they're like, "Oh, it's Keith Lee, hey." And he's like, no. Because he knows that they treated his family kind of poorly. I've heard before that, I think I've heard before about businesses in Atlanta being like super rude and kind of just like closed off to new business. But I've never experienced it just because I don't really dine into anywhere in Atlanta ever because it's always outside my pay grade. So, so yeah, but you know, I don't know. It in a way it doesn't like shock me that some restaurants in Atlanta treat people like that. Especially if they're like high end. I feel like if they're high end, some businesses in Atlanta seem to treat their customers kind of weird, and are like very judgy. So I don't know. I would need to go up there and experience it for myself. I don't know if I would experience it, honestly. I've heard before there's a racial component, that if you're not white, you're far more likely to be treated poorly by restaurant staff and by restaurant owners in certain businesses in Atlanta. So I don't know. I don't even know if I would fall under that category. You know, I don't know if I would have the same experience. All right, so now we've entered the after dark portion of the episode. I am sleepy. It's not going to be as sleep heavy as the last episode, but I am very sleepy and I want to chill and just ramble about shit that comes to mind. So I think last week I literally went on like a religious thing. Like I was just talking about like my time in church and stuff like that and reasons why I don't go anymore. I kind of wanted to talk more about it. I was just like way too tired to go deeper into it in that episode because I actually was exhausted. I think I had, what was it? I had just come home from a 12-hour shift, so I was pretty tired. Right now I'm just tired because I'm lazy as shit. So, alright, so I think I went over it a little bit, but I'm just going to start with like a clean slate. So I started going to church when I was 15? Yeah, I was 15. I started going because my girlfriend at the time wanted me to go. It was also a good opportunity for us to like have time to hang out afterwards and actually see each other outside of school. So I would go to church with her, and so I would go to church with her, and then eventually we split, but I kept going to church, and I was in like groups, and I was making friends there. I'm still friends actually with a lot of the people that I went to church with, and I think like not too long after that, I started dating another girl, and I brought her to the church, and I'm pretty sure I converted her from like just pure atheism to Christianity, and her Christianity has far outlived mine. At this point in time, I'm a little bit more agnostic. I'm kind of just like free flowing through my life. I don't really believe in anything in particular. And but I'm pretty sure she's still like deep into Christianity. And and so I went all the way until I was 18, and that was when the pandemic started. So I went to that church for about 3 years. I went to a couple of retreats. I did get baptized while I was there. And I had fun. At one point I was the church audio engineer. Like, not the official one, but not like the main one, but I was one of them. I was like one of 3. And I was doing that. And yeah, I mean, I had a good thing going. It's just the pandemic screwed a lot of that up, and then I lost motivation to keep going or to keep tuning in. But I still talk to them sometimes. Like, I saw the leaders on Halloween, like the people who run the church, and their adult children with their children. Why am I wording it like that? The people who own the church, then their kids are all adults, and they all have kids too. And I saw them on Halloween because the people who own the church are my neighbors. So, which is like a huge coincidence, by the way. I don't think they knew that when they moved in. But you know, while I was there, we would do like services, and the whole church was kind of marketed as like an unorthodox, like kind of like an unorthodox like stepping off point. And you would go there, and then like after a certain amount of time, a lot of people would then move on to another church that was a lot more deep into the ideology. And obviously I was never gonna do that. I don't think I would have bought in that heavily to start going to like a Baptist church or something and settling into all that. I think I mostly just liked all the community of being in a church, so that's why I was there. So when you take the community out of it, you can't really. I kind of lose interest in going. So I'm trying to think of like a good memory I have of being there. I have some bad ones. Not like due to it being the church. I just have like bad memories of interactions I've had while there. Some that I don't know if I could even talk about without it being like way too personal, because then at that point I'm talking about too much information. A good memory I would have had is a good memory I have is on one of our retreats we like went in canoes and went across like this like kind of lake pond type thing, and on one of the canoes, I think it was like Aaron's canoe had spiders in it, and we just had to like calmly sail back to the dock because they were like black widows, I think, just chilling in her boat. I think we had to like calmly but quickly sail back to the dock. I think that was the type of spider that it was. But that was a funny memory. One fun memory I had was when a bunch of us as a group, we like broke off into groups for our like Friday night event thing that they would do, and we had to like go around the city and take pictures in front of certain objects or places or with people. So there's like a picture of me from a long time ago where I have where I'm like super young, but we're like in like like a store and I'm holding like a stuffed animal or something, and there's an old picture of me doing that, and then we like walked into a hotel and had to take a picture with like the hotel staff for one of the challenges, and that was a lot of fun. Yeah, I have some bad stories too, but I feel like they're probably a little too personal to bring up on a podcast that everyone listens to. I just have like some moments where there were people that I went to church with that like I shouldn't in normal circumstances we shouldn't have been around each other for a long time, but we were still going to the same church, so there was a lot of like arguments and disagreements between each other, and that's like as vague as I can put it without getting deep into that story. But it's really interesting. I was just thinking about it while telling the canoe story, and then I really remembered it when telling the Friday night event story. There are videos I've made talking about the church. In 2015, I talked about, there was this thing that we did called First Friday. And the first ever First Friday I was invited to was in late 2015. And the way that it was like advertised at the time was like trivia and pizza and something else. It was like pizza and trivia. That's the main selling point to go to this Friday night thing. And I talk about it in an old Minecraft survival games video. I think it's even in the title. I think the title is literally pizza and trivia or some dumb shit like that. And I wonder if I could find it actually. Oh, it's got flashbanged. Here, let's see. Playlist. This will be funny. Playlist. Where's the survival games? There it is. Videos. It's called... Come on. It's not that old. Or it is old, but I know where it is. Endless... Oh, I called it Endless Chase and Trivia. And I think in the video I talk about, I think I talk about, like, the trivia in games. Like, endless trivia in games. And it was just, like, funny how the marketing was worded for the event. But it's the first ever First Friday I ever went to. It was the first time I ever stepped foot into that church. And then I started consistently going a couple years later. Not even a couple years, like a year and a half later. And, yeah, so this is my time in the church. I think I have a video of me being baptized somewhere, but I'd have to, like, censor everybody in the audience and censor the room to an extent so you can't tell where I was and all that stuff. It's just too revealing. But, yeah, that's my time in the church. I don't know why I get the urge to talk about my religious background when I make it dark in here, but I don't know. When I get tired, I'm like, let me spill the beads about my few years of being religious. When I used to be like a ride or die hardcore agnostic. Not even hardcore agnostic. I feel like that's a mischaracterization of what I was. I was agnostic, just plain and simple. I didn't know what I believed. I didn't grow up Christian. I definitely was around Christian things, but I didn't grow up that way. And so, as I got older, I didn't know what to think. And I will say there is something very comforting about the idea of there not being a hell. The idea of there being a potential for you to go to hell at some point is kind of a scary thought. And so when you kind of drop that whole thing, you're a lot more at ease. So that's all I'll say about that. Anyways, I'm going to end it now. So a short episode, but I said it was going to be short. So anyways, hope you enjoyed if you listened this far. And I will be on here in like a week or two. Who knows how consistent I'll continue to be. We have a Patreon, and we're also on other streaming services. So if you don't want to watch the podcast, or you don't want to like have it on to listen to, but also have the video playing, we're on YouTube Music, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts, and Patreon. There's audio episodes uploaded to the Patreon for every episode, from like episode 12 onward. So yeah, thank you for listening, and bye.